Hey everyone, welcome back, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Maika, and this channel is all about supporting you in your self-leadership so that you can live the life that you want to live. Today's topic is about what to do if we care too much about another person's approval or their opinion in general. Of course, there are instances in which it is super helpful to get another person's perspective, but there are also other instances in which we can get caught up in a worry loop about what other people are thinking of us. And that's exactly the part that I want to address today. The first thing I'd like to address is how we can tell if we are too affected by other people's opinions. And the question that you can ask yourself is, how much does this thought occupy my mind? How many times do you analyze situations under the headline of, what will they think of me? How many times do you put expectations of other people first, even if that means stepping over your own values? How many times do you let the approval of another person guide your behavior, neglecting what you want? Or maybe you're not striving to get approval, but you just want to avoid disapproval, to keep your peace. How many times do you let the thought, am I good enough for another person, stress you out? Whatever that may mean, good enough. I mean, cool, pretty, smart, successful. In the end, it's a question of what drives you. The thought of what will others think, or the thought, what's important to me? And I don't want to throw this question of what do others think of me out of the picture completely. It's helpful to have the awareness of how we come across and how another person may perceive us. That is really helpful and definitely something we can hold on to. But what I do want to question and address is when this becomes our guidance in situations where it just shouldn't matter. If it starts swallowing up our life, our mental space in an unhealthy way. So here are a few things that you can do to become less affected by other people's approval and opinions. Thought number one, other people's opinions are just that, opinions. One of the most common reasons we are overly affected by other people's opinions is that we strive for some sort of confirmation from them that we are good enough for them, for life, that we are worthy of being loved, that we are worthy of being successful, and that we're welcome here on this planet. And one way we can take a step back from that dynamic in our mind is to become aware that other people's opinions are just opinions. What this means is that just because someone says something about you or believes something about you does not mean it's true. And other people's thoughts also don't have the power to make something become true unless you allow that to happen. And this thought sounds easy and obvious, and the real challenge is to distance ourselves from believing other people's opinions are true throughout our day, because it's relatively easy to be aware of that when we are on our own and reflecting. And we can get really caught up in believing that the thought of another person or our own thought is just true. So this is something to keep in mind, that thoughts and opinions are not truth. They can be, but they don't have to be. And another person's opinion is just an opinion. And taking another step into this topic, we can also look at this question of worthiness and where that comes from. And ultimately, to really feel worthy, it has to come from inside. No one else can give you the approval of being good enough. There are many reasons we can feel like we're not good enough or not worthy enough. That usually has to do with what we've been taught about worthiness, or what we've exposed ourselves to about worthiness. And Often we are taught that you are good enough for life, for love, for success. If you please me, if you do what I say, and if you don't cause me any problems. So basically, we're taught to check if we are worthy by checking what another person, in that case, the person who is raising us, is saying about us. We are worthy. You're worthy if I say you're worthy. That is something that many people are taught about worthiness. You're good enough if I say so. And that's the thought that we have to let go of. We're not good enough if another person says so. Just by existing, we are worthy of being loved. We're worthy of being happy. We're worthy of being successful, of being treated well. So this can be a very great place to start working on ourselves so that we are less affected by other people's opinions, and to get over our oversensitivity of other people's opinions, to realize that no one can make me feel good enough about myself. I can't find this feeling that I'm good enough outside, by looking outside. I can only find that by discovering that this is something that is there just because I am, and it's nothing to be achieved. Thought number 2, do they really care? One way to become less affected by what other people think of us is to ask ourselves if we are maybe overestimating how much other people are at all thinking about us. This is called the spotlight effect, to have the impression that when we enter a room, all eyes are on us and everybody is now thinking about us, analyzing us. And the truth is that people are busy with their own lives. Even if someone has their eyes resting on you, that doesn't mean they're thinking about you. They could just be lost in thought about something else. So whenever you feel that someone is thinking about you, question that. Ask yourself, are they really thinking about me? Could it be that they're thinking about something completely different right now? More often than not, other people's behavior has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. So even if someone greets you with a grumpy expression, that doesn't mean they're mad at you. They probably just had a bad night's sleep. Or if someone doesn't greet you, that doesn't mean they ignored you. Perhaps they just didn't see you. Or if someone tells you something, that doesn't mean that they wanted to tell you something. It could also be they just wanted to share this with anyone, and you happened to be the first person they met that day to share this with. So just a question, how much do people really care about analyzing me? That can give a lot of relief. Thought number 3, give it back to them. This one has to do with who is responsible for another person's thoughts. And if we're too affected by what other people think, it's likely that we feel too responsible for what they are thinking. So remind yourself that your influence and your responsibility for what other people are thinking only goes so far. Just like if you look into a mirror, or if you look into a spoon, or if you look onto a shiny stone, the reflection that you get back is different depending on the surface of whatever you're looking into. In the same way, other people's opinions of you will change according to the characteristics of their minds. Their own values, beliefs, their ideas about what makes someone successful in life will change the way that you're reflected in their mind. And that has nothing to do with you, but it has everything to do with them. Or some people are just hurt and they haven't healed that hurt. and they just go around hurting other people. And again, that has nothing to do with you, just it has everything to do with them and their coping strategies. And in these instances, it's really helpful to mentally give the responsibility for these thoughts back to those people. And the one way you can do this is by, in your mind, saying to that person, you may think XYZ about me, but that comes from your own beliefs that I don't share. Or you may think that I won't thrive with this strategy, but that has to do with your fears, not with reality. For example, let's say you have a part-time job and you're really happy with it, and someone is of the opinion that you should be doing more, that your job is not prestigious enough, that you should be striving to get into a higher position, or that you should just be doing more hour-wise. You could now think about this, that, oh, they're right, I'm not doing enough, or you could give the responsibility for those thoughts back to them by telling yourself or that person in your mind that the reason why you feel I'm not doing enough is because you are afraid that this is not enough. It comes from your fears and insecurities, not from the truth about jobs. So it's not your responsibility to appease other people's fears and insecurities by complying to what they say, even if the way you live your life triggers them and their fears and insecurities. Thought number 4, pay more attention to your inner compass. A common thing that happens to people who are overly adjusted and conforming to other people's opinions is that they lose contact to their own self. It's so much easier to fit in, to conform to other people's opinions, to be adjusted, if you don't feel yourself that much. It decreases the tension. So one thing you can practice if you want to be less affected by other people's opinions is to be more affected by yourself. To practice listening to yourself, your emotions, your needs, your values, to what resonates with you and what doesn't, etc. Your life is happening in your head, not in the heads of other people. Thank you for joining me today. I hope there was something in this video that is helpful to you in some way. If yes, please leave a thumbs up and share this video with a friend that might benefit from this content. If you're new here and you'd like to stay in contact, remember to subscribe and take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.